All right, everybody. I've got another very special guest for y'all. Everybody, please welcome to the show, Corissa Grant. Welcome, Corissa.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you coming on. I know it's 3 years too late, but here we are, finally doing it.
That's all right. I wrote to so many people that it's probably good that we spaced it. I ran out of people to talk on their show, so it's good we spaced it out a little. So.
You know, I always say, and I know not everything someone says gets to everybody. That's why it's always said to comic creators to keep posting your links because the same person is going to see it every day. But I'm like, just contact me like 8 times because
My problem was is that I sent so many messages to so many podcasts that I would get banned. Like I would Facebook would say you're spamming, so I'd have to wait. So then if they wrote to me, I couldn't write them back because it would block me, and I'm like, damn it. So
I've had a few. We've been like mid conversation in the email, and then I don't answer for a week, and they'll come back and be like, "So, is everything still good?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry, life happened, and you fell down the."
Pretty much, yeah.
Because I get 18 emails a day from different
I think
things.
I did. Well, when I first started this, I didn't tell anyone I was a girl. So, because it was horror, it was comics. I had never done comics or anything. I didn't know it would be, acceptable. You know what I mean? And then my friend Lori, I don't know if you know her from Path of the Pale Rider. She's like, "You got to be on videos," and I was like, "Fine." So now I've done, I think, in 3 years, like 300 podcasts. I was doing 20 to 40 per Kickstarter. So I don't do that anymore. I do like 3 now, which is so much easier.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a good way to start. I mean, you're new to the show, so let's do the origin story. Like, where's your love for comics come from, and where'd you get to the point where you're like, hey, I think I have a story I want to tell, or stories I want to tell?
Yeah. So comic wise, I was in the 90s. It was all Ghost Rider. So that's what I loved in Ghost Rider. But I did stop because they had like a second Midnight Suns crossover that was like 30 issues, and I couldn't afford it. So I kind of got out of comics then. But what got me into writing was I got the original Resident Evil 2, and I got obsessed with this game. So I wound up finding out about role playing, which I had no idea about before. And I role played as Claire Redfield for like 17 years. So I love Claire Redfield. But in doing so, I got into. So I'm dyslexic. And so when I first started writing, it was like one-liners, and then it went to like small pairs. And then I was like, oh, I'm never going to do novel errors. That's too much. And now I sit and do like 6,000 words per sitting. So I've gotten a little better. But during this whole time, I had this story that I wanted to tell, and I wrote with a lot of different people, really great writers, but for some reason I didn't tell anyone the story, or if I did, I'm like, oh, I can't write it with you. And then I found my co-writer, Jess, and after, I think we wrote like one thing, and I was like, okay, I have a role I want you to take. So about our story, it's a little bit different than most people is. We actually wrote it during role playing. It wasn't meant to be a comic. It wasn't meant to be anything. So I wrote the story first in Seraphina's point of view, and then Jess went and wrote Draven. So I didn't write anything Draven. So when you read it, they have 2 personalities, which you could tell which one's which, because Seraphina talks nonstop and barely thinks, and Draven like thinks all the time, barely talks. So that's kind of our personalities right there. But I think we got to like. So we wrote 16 novels total so far in 5 years. We've been writing for 5 years. And I think we started after 5 novels, or maybe 7 novels, because the first 5 novels was Redemption. It's 23 issues. So I think that started. So during that time, I was kind of like, we were briefly thought about making it a novels, but unfortunately, I'm a better storyteller than a writer. So like I could tell amazing stories, but I don't write the whole show don't tell thing, which worked perfect for comics. So I said, let me print it out for us. Let me get some random artist to do like a cover, and I kept trying to find these covers, and I was trying to find realistic because we had like actors that we used to use. And they were all so cartoony that I said, do you want realistic or do you want cartoony? And my co-writer's like, oh, cartoony's fine. And then like a light bulb went off and I said the stupidest thing I ever said. How hard can it be to make a comic? So it was like the hardest thing I've ever done.
Those famous last words.
Famous last words. Like the first script I wrote, when I gave it to the letter is like, did you want to see any of the art or did you want all dialogue? And I was like, so my first issue was pretty much the first three because there was so much writing and all that stuff. And for anyone that doesn't know, my first issue actually, I released it for like 35 issues, but I wound up redoing it because the artist quit halfway through, not even 2 pages in, but I paid for an issue and a half. So I lost like $5,000 during the first one. And then I found Jonas DaCosta, which is the one that did all of Redemption. And so he did all 23 issues, and he's amazing. He's doing the prequel now. And the one that we're going to talk about is the Western. And that's a different artist. That's Matthew. And he's amazing. Very loyal. He's only doing my comic now. All my artists are ongoing. I have 3 ongoing series. And they just keep going. So like as fast as they go, I just keep paying. So it doesn't matter. Kickstarters help me get out of debt. That's what they do. Like I have all, like we're releasing issue, Redemption's further ahead because in the beginning he didn't have as much work. So he was like an issue a month. So we just released 2 weeks ago Redemption 16 and he already finished 23 and 1 issue of the prequel. So that guy's like, yeah, he's crazy. He had never worked in comics before. I had never worked in comics before. We fought the entire first issue. Like the entire issue. Like my husband's like, you got to find somebody else. I was like, no, he's the guy. I just need to make this work. I had like because when you're writing, you don't know I don't know what I'm doing. So I had like 6 to 8 panels because that's kind of what they tell you. It's generally about 6 to 8 panels. But he adds all these action cool panels. So we were like butting heads, like, oh, we need this and we need that. And then finally I just realized that I have to back it up and let him kind of do stuff. So I would only do 4 to 5 issues. He would add things he needs to. So it could be four panels or it could be 9, depending on what's going on. And after that first issue, we were golden. And I think since then, out of 24 issues we've done together, I think we've only argued on 3 separate weird pages. Like, that's it.
I think you're the only boss to get mad at somebody for doing more work.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah. But it was really funny because, like I said, we've done 24 issues together and we've never argued. But there'll be like this one random page, like for whatever reason we can't get it right. I'm like, you're not listening. This goes here. What are you doing? And it's like, you're like, what happened for the last 20 issues? We didn't have a problem. But yeah, so we work really good together now. And he said, I'm a great boss, which I said is bullshit, but.
So your turnaround for your Kickstarters must be pretty quick if he's that far ahead.
Yeah, so my Kickstarters, I only run 2 weeks and I'm trying to lower it to like 10 days. So I do about 15 days per 15 days per Kickstarter. And then 3 to 4 weeks later, I do the next Kickstarter. I don't start one unless I have the main cover in hand. So those get out within 24 hours or so. So I usually get like at least 1/3, sometimes half a Kickstarter out in the first 24, 48 hours. And then I order from Ready, which has them at my door within like 4 weeks. So within 6 weeks, I ship the rest. But by then my next one's already started. I've had 27. I think I'm on my 28. I think this will be my 28th now. So I've done a few.
And you were telling me before we were recording, I was mentioning like you must have been doing this for a while, and you're like, you've only been doing it for 3 years, so you've really been cranking them out.
Yeah. It's because when he first started, he like issue 2 quit his job, and I was like, oh shit. I was like, so now I felt like I had to support him because I was like, I don't want him to go get another job. I loved his artwork; it fit the character so perfectly. And I love his panel work. So I was like, all right, well, just keep going and I'll keep paying you. I was like, sooner or later it'll get busy. I think it was like 2 years later when he finally got busy. So we're like 8 issues ahead. And so a lot of indie creators do like 2 to 4 tops Kickstarters a year. And I do like 8 to 9. But the story's so long. So Redemption's 23 issues, which is already drawn out and getting colored. And then my next series is 25 issues already written for Conviction. And then some of my very loyal readers want me to do the one I have written after that, which is 25 issues, which is called Resurrection. I was like, let's just see who's around still reading by then. And then the Western's 25 issues, and then the prequels are fortunately only 8. So once I get through those, and then I have a new one starting that literally only started because the artist begged me for work. So I was like, all right, I'll think of something. So I thought of this series, which is in the point of view of the cryptids. And it's kind of cool. So I had him do it in chibi form because I do a lot of stickers in chibi forms, and at the cons they sell. So I was like, well, I should just do something that connects to that. So it goes, if you've never read any of my series, it's a cool adventure with cryptids. We got Cerberus and Hellhounds and all Bigfoot, Mothman, all this stuff. But if you've read Redemption, and it goes between issues 13 and 14, and if you've read the Western, it's in the behind the scenes of the Western. So like some things that they do in this causes what happened, which you wouldn't know when you're watching the Western, because it would be like just random things and you wouldn't realize it. Like in issue 2, she's walking past the Jersey Devil and the Dragon Cat fighting, and she's like, I don't know why they're out in the daytime and I don't know why they're fighting. But what happened in the chibi version is one of them stepped on its tail and it hit the other one, and then they started fighting. And then so she's like, see, it doesn't matter in the Western, but it's cool to see how that kind of started.
Yeah.
So there's that.
I think a great place to jump from here is Worthy Chaos. Like, what is the story here? What's kind of the series you're building?
So the Worthy Chaos series is pretty much revolves around Seraphina and Draven. She's an angel and he's a demon. And they've lived through multiple lives together, but in each life, they can't remember the last one. And it always ends tragically, and it's always because their fathers, angel and demon, are after her because she was originally created from an angelic weapon. And the angelic weapon has so much power that it could, they want to use it. However, Draven's father wants it to conquer things, and her father wants it for a reason I can't say yet. But he wants it for a totally other reason. So that's pretty much what it is. The only problem is that her soul is what activates it. So if they get her, she would cease to exist, and then Draven would pretty much probably go dark. So, but yeah, so it's kind of a survival horror. Now, Worthy Chaos Devastation, which is a supernatural one, is it's their previous life before Redemption. So it's in the Old West. And eventually everything will connect. But right now you could read one or you could read the other. It doesn't really matter. You can read both. Most people read both, but they're kind of different. So the supernatural Western, it's more of a straightforward adventure. They have to find these 18 cryptid jars, ingredients, and you can't kill the cryptid to get it, otherwise it loses its power. So it's fun and people could follow along. So I don't know if you know Supernatural, the TV show, but I sell these journals that people can collect the cryptids from. So if there's a cryptid in the background, or she saw one or interacted one, there's a journal page for it. And all you have to do is pay $14 for the journal, and then whatever Kickstarter you back, you get the page for free. And every Kickstarter has at least one page. So people like to collect them. I think I have like 75 journal readers. Some of them have more than one. I don't know why. I don't care. It's good. But the other thing that people can collect, which makes it really interactive, is they can collect the ingredients. So one of the first ingredients was dragon plant heart, which is, it comes with a charm. It's got wax seal, label, all that fun stuff. And then the second one, which was the last issue, was vampire blood. Of course, it's fake. But there is preservatives in it to keep it from molding. So I make all of them, which is really annoying. And then this one is Squonk's Tears. And if you don't know who Squonk is, he is the cryptid from Pennsylvania that just cries in the forest about how ugly he is. And that's it. And if you upset him, he just cries into a puddle. So there's that. So, so people could follow along. There's 18 jars. I also sell a wooden logo apothecary travel kit that people can hold the journal and the jars in is what she uses too. She has this box that she uses, and I have to make the inside of that, so I hate that too. So I make all these things that drive me crazy. The people love them and they like to interact with them and all that fun stuff. So
it's
really good.
very video gamey. Like
Yeah,
you pick up the little journals, get a little extra of the story as you go along.
I think the Western would make, and I've been asked this multiple times, and I don't know if I'll ever do it, but I've been asked multiple times to make it like a tabletop role play game. So the Western would be really good at that because you have like a journey, you have like a mission. So it could be, and I did write this while role playing, so it's a possibility. We'll see.
Yeah, you could even write it as like a homebrew of another, so you don't have to come up with all the rules and everything. Just be like, it's D&D 5 compatible, and here's the world.
Yeah, so the Western would be a really good board game, and the Redemption, because it's like this super chaotic horror survival adventure action, would be a good video game like Resident Evil, since it's like based off of Resident Evil. So I think that would be a really good, you fight things. And issues 1 through 7 or hardcover 1 is got the vibes of Silent Hill, and the second hardcover, which is 8 through 12, is like Resident Evil 1 with a little bit of 2 in there, and then book 3 and 4, which is issues 13 through 23, is all Resident Evil 2, which is how it started because it was a fan fiction when we first wrote it. So but it's got the Resident Evil vibes for it. There's trapped in an apocalyptic city. You don't know if it's just the city or the world, and all this stuff. So it's kind of cool to do that adventure. Yeah.
I was reading a thing recently that interested me because video games, like comics, it's a very like male dominated fandom, but Resident Evil is actually more of a female dominated fandom
hot.
inside that.
We love
Why is that?
We love Leon. He's hot. So that's why.
I was very interested in that. I'm like, that's not the game I would have picked out.
Yeah, nope, we love it because there's always a girl character that even if they're wusses to begin with, they wind up being badass. And then you have Leon, who's gorgeous, or you have Chris, who's good looking. I love Leon. Like I literally started. So someone asked me why when I started role playing, like, oh, did you love Claire? And I was like, yes, but I made her to role play with the Leon. Like that was like the literal point. Like I wanted to role play them together. I wanted to ship them together. And then I think I found in 17 years 3 people that wrote Leon okay, and then they never stuck around. Thanks for bringing that up, that bad memory.
And you said when you're starting a Kickstarter, you want at least one of the covers to be done. The main cover.
Usually the main cover or the hottest
How many
cover.
How many covers are you averaging on a campaign?
So I used to do 3. It was nice and simple, and then it just kind of got out of control. And now I think I was just counting today. I go all the way to G, so whatever the letter G or H is what I go to, because I don't like the way I looks. Like 5I, it doesn't look right. So I think this one has. Actually, I can tell you right now because I'm like working on it. Let's see.
I'm looking at 6 right now on your pre-launch page. We're recording this before everything launches.
We're going to do 5. So 5.
Okay.
Right, you should see 5, right?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, you're saying 6
5,
covers.
6.
Yeah. I don't think I have them all there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's gonna be 8 because it started as 7, but what is this picture mean? So I realized that it's a big Squonk episode or issue, and he's not on any of the covers. So my friend, I'm having somebody work on a cover right now. I was like, how do I not have a cover of Squonk? Like everyone loves Squonk. You either don't know him or you love him. That's the 2 choices.
I was Googling him while you're saying that, and I'm like, this guy's phenomenal.
So mine's cute though. But, mine's cute.
I'm the type that has like that I think ugly is cute.
Me too.
Syndrome.
Yeah.
Like I see these cats on Facebook because I get inundated with like adopt this cat, and it's terrible because I end up with like 80 cats. Yeah. But the ones with like the little smush faces and they got like the kind of fugly thing going, I'm always just speaking of
cat. This is my mentally
I'm
challenged one right here.
I'm always looking at the missus and being like, isn't he adorable? And she looks at me like, okay, and I'm like, just look at that little smushed
I love bats. So I would have a bat as a pet. Like I've watched Harry Potter and it would have been a bat. Like, so yeah, I love the ugly cute thing. Yeah.
I would love to hear from from your perspective, and B, probably the first woman I've had this conversation with. You have on the Kickstarter page, you tend to have the not safe for work covers on there. How, like for you, the sexualization of your character, all that kind of thing, like how's that go for you? Do you have, I'm assuming you're okay with it if you're doing it, but
Okay, so
what's your feelings on it?
to clarify, Seraphina is never topless. So only demons, vampires, all those. So the vampire is who you see there, topless. They're the only ones. Seraphina is never topless. I am very protective of her. I got yelled at by somebody at a con. We're like, yeah, you have to do topless covers. I was like, no, I don't. She's never gonna be topless. But for the vampire, yeah, it doesn't bother me if it's topless, because to me that's kind of like an artistic thing. They're not topless in the art in the comic. Like that's the only thing I don't have. Mostly because at cons, I've been asked numerous times, what is this rated? And I said, it depends on how you raise your kids. I was like, they curse all the time and there's a lot of violence, but there's no nudity. Oh, okay, it's good then. I'm like, the one thing that's all natural, which is nudity. Yeah, they're against that. But yeah, so, and I can't have completely nude. Like I've had 2 artists send me where they're like, oh, it's no extra charge. It's like, yeah, no, you got to put something on the bottom part. I don't know why. It's just, and when I first had a topless cover, I was so embarrassed by it that it was a secret cover in the add-ons. Now I've gotten a little bit more brazen with the, whatever. But yeah, it sometimes it bothers me. I always tell the artist tasteful. It has to be tasteful. I don't want a raunchy kind of pose or something like that. So if it's tasteful, I like it, but it's never going to be Seraphina. And I've actually gotten, like, people have actually praised me for not having her be topless. They'll be like, we respect that because she's more, she's badass and they like to imagine her naked anyway. So as far as she's gotten the bra. And the only reason why I allow that is because she's been in a bikini. So I figure what's the difference if it's a bra, but
yeah. I'm of the mind, like, I mean, whatever people are into, I'm fine with. I mean, as long as you're not hurting anybody, what's the problem? But I never got it, personally.
I don't either. And, like, they'll buy, like, all of them, and I was like, how many covers do you need? Now, trust me, I appreciate when people buy multiple covers. I never got that. Like, you buy as many as you want, though. Buy them all. So, yeah.
Yes, please buy all 8 covers. Like,
I usually have one really expensive cover, and then the rest are a little bit cheaper. But I just ordered my most expensive cover yet, and I'm just like, watch it make no money, but we'll see. But this is Eric Chan is not the one you saw. The topless is Bear Witch. His is really good. He sends me nude ones, and I'm like, don't. I can't see my character nude. I
mean, it's phenomenal artwork.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's really good. He's got a lot of followers. Eric Chan's really good. I think he's worked for Marvel or DC. Now, my best cover ever was Derek Chu, and that's issue 1. I had 330 backers. I made 13,000 something. That was my highest. I'm never going to get that again, but that was really nice. And I was like, this is great. Well, the reason why that worked out perfectly was, so my husband had told me to go all out for 2 years. He's like, the first, for you go all for I'm like, you don't want to tell me that, but okay. I went all out for 2 years, and literally the 2-year mark, he's like, so you're going to slow down a little bit? I was like, I'm starting a new series. It's called The Western. He's like, whatever. So I started The Western, and that made my highest yet. So it made it look a lot better that I kept going after I said I would stop after two years. So,
have you done collected editions of the previous arcs?
Yeah, they're on my Kickstarter, so you can get any of the. Well, I shouldn't say that. You can get any of the higher end ones. I can't list them all because, believe it or not, I'm called the Queen of Merch, and I run out of tiers. So like they used to be unlimited. And even when I had a problem, because I broke Kickstarter, I wrote to Kickstarter and said, there is no limit. I was like, it only lets me do 99 total, like between the rewards and the add-ons. They go, oh, well, okay, then it's 99. I was like, oh. So it used to not be. So now I got to have variants, which is really annoying because I order within 3 days and people don't fill out their surveys. So I'm like, I don't know which one they want. So, like, this past one, I had to guess, and I wound up buying 10 of them when I didn't need 10. I was like, whatever, I'll sell them eventually. But yeah, it's a little annoying. And then somebody ordered a metal cover and then didn't pay, so now I have an extra metal cover. So it's kind of annoying, but I don't want to make people wait because payments don't come in until two weeks. You know, I don't want to waste a week. I'm still waiting for my proofs for this one, and it ended a week ago. So yeah, so that's annoying. But yeah, you can get the past sexy ones, and if anyone wants them, they can ask me. But I can't. There's so many. Like for Redemption, I used to remember back in the day, I have to list every single one, and it would and I only had 3 for each one of those, but I was up to like issue 15, so I did it a little too fast. That's why I think the Western helped me get more readers to Redemption, because when I first started, I went so fast. Like the first year, I had the first 7, and then a hardcover. So like I had all that in 1 year. And so when people were coming on, it was a little bit tougher because people see like the number 16 and think, oh, that's a lot of catch up. But I have the hardcovers so people can catch up faster and cheaper. They're like $29 each for like, 7 issues, 5 issues. So, plus I have
Which
the
is so
PDFs to catch up.
It's so funny to me because I remember during the heart of like Walking Dead fever, and people were buying those phone books. Like people would never read comics. It was literally a phone book of comics, and they come back like a week later, like, so you got volume 2?
It's really funny because I never read, my brother read the Walking Dead comics, but didn't watch the show because he didn't like it. And they don't connect. I guess they're like, they kill Carol in one and not the other, and then the Daryl doesn't exist in the comics, so
it's Earth 1 and Earth 2.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I did love the show. I'm not gonna lie, I was a big Daryl Carol shipper. I actually role played Carol at one point just to ship them, and I met this guy that I was role playing with that was just like Daryl, and he wrote just like him. And then, like a bitch, I left without telling him, just like she did in the show, and I didn't mean to, but it was just one of those things where you're just like, all right, I gotta go. So now I get totally what she meant when she left. But after the whole cave incident, when they kind of weren't together anymore, I kind of stopped watching. So, and my husband got mad when Rick left. It was this whole thing. So, I haven't watched the last 2 seasons. Have you watched it? The whole thing?
I don't think I've watched since Rick died. A little bit after Rick died, when they had the settlement.
Yeah.
I've wanted to go back because now there's like 8 shows, and I think it's.
Well, Carol just joined Daryl. Because originally it was supposed to be them together, but she didn't want to move this, reasonably so, to Europe to do it. She had to move to Europe. So she didn't do it. So he did 1 season without her, and then at the beginning of the next season, I don't know if she changed her mind or what's going on, but she joined them, so they did the season together. And now it would be the 3rd season, and I have no idea what's going on. I'm so out of the loop. So
Yeah, and Negan has a show now, and
Negan and what's the other chick? I know her, Bella from Supernatural, but what is she?
Oh, it's been so long I can't.
What the hell's her name?
I can barely remember my own name.
I don't know. They killed her husband. They killed Steve in the most brutal way possible.
Yeah, it was Negan that killed. Yeah.
Well, we used to talk about that all the time. Everyone badmouths Negan, but if it was in reverse and Negan did all that to Rick and killed 30 of his men, Rick would have done the same exact thing. So they're all hypocrites.
It's way more brutal in the comic how it went about because it was less. I think also because we weren't expecting it. At least I wasn't. Yeah.
Well, there we go.
So
shock factor.
you say you're the queen of merch. So I want to know, like, what's some of your favorite merch you've done for the series?
My favorite's plushies. Like, I love plushies. I have a plushie for every cryptid, and I have like 30-something cryptids. They're all handmade by a friend of mine that lives in Atlanta, and so plushies. I have a ton of metal pins. I have 40 plus metal pins. And if you want to know how horrible they are to buy, just to buy the first 100, you have to spend like $275. It's almost $300 to buy the first 100 because you have to buy $100 is the mold. And I found out that it only lasts 3 years. It's not 3 years from the last time you bought it. It's just 3 years. So if I just bought it, but it's at the 3-year mark, they'll still throw it away, which is, I'm sorry, that's bull, but whatever. So yeah, so I got 40 of those, and then I have over 80 sticker designs. Don't ask me what people are doing with stickers. I love you all that collect stickers. I don't know what you do with them. At cons, I sell like $1,000 worth of stickers. I love you all. I don't know what you're doing with them. Like, I don't just like, is somebody's car going around with all these stickers? I don't know. But yeah, so stickers are a big seller for me. The metal pins are big, but I love plushies. Like, and Squonk. Squonk's plushie is one of my favorites. So,
Yeah, I was looking. You did a campaign that's just merch.
yeah.
It looks like for
I
the
didn't have any
plushies.
room on any of my campaigns. I was like, I need to do a new one. And I do have another one of those planned, but it's going to have the comic book in there too, the chibi comic book. But yeah, it's all merch because I didn't know what else. I'm like, I can't fit them anywhere else. I have 3D statues. I just started a new one with acrylics. Like I was at what con was I at? I was at one of the cons. Was it here? I mostly only do Tennessee. I've only done one Kentucky, and it was a cryptid con, and I've never made more money in my life at a con. So that was, I made like $2,600. That was awesome. Probably the 3-foot Bigfoots I sold are pretty good. They weigh a ton. I was like, please buy these. They don't fit in the car. But I met someone which is one of the reasons why I do it. Oh, I know. It was a Yamacon. I don't know if you've ever been to Yamacon. It's an anime con over here in Gatlinburg. And I was a guest. So it was a free table. And I walked around. And I usually walk around and find people that, like, artists that can make, like, covers for me or merch. And there was someone that does acrylic stands. Like, these are the new thing, like everyone was selling them acrylic stands. I was like, all right, well, if I need acrylic stands. Do you make these? She's like, yeah. So I literally just talked to her. She's making me like a ton of them. So they're like 6-inch stands of the picture of the character, but in acrylic. And then I got keychains and magnets. So like I got even more merch. And then I found somebody that does 3 resin prints, so they're working on that. And I was like, God, I don't need more merch, but what else you got? So.
So your husband just doesn't have a man cave anymore because it's stored with all this merch. Is that what's at? Like,
he has 2 garages and a basement. I have one.
It sounds like those are filled too.
Well, the funny part is the sad part is, so he was building me a workshop outside because of all the merch, and he was like, we had put like 5,000 into it, and it was going to be huge. I even told him, I was like, this is really big. So I look outside once, and he looks all depressed. He's like, I found a pipe. And I was like, what do you mean you found a pipe? So the person that we paid $120 to tell us where the leaching field pipes are was wrong. Oh, no. So we had to cut it in half. So it's not going to be a complete workshop. It's going to be a little bit storage, which is good too, because I buy 500 hardcovers at a time to keep the price low for people, because I don't know if you've ever seen indie hardcover, but usually when they're 200 pages, they're like $55. And I sell them for $29. Yeah. And the only reason why I'm able to do that is because I buy 500 of them. And I just ordered more. So, yeah.
Do you do the same with your single issues to keep the price down?
No. Ironically, they cost about the same. I only buy enough singles to sell to people. I do the Kickstarters. The singles are to pay for the hardcover. I love hardcovers. Like, I love hardcovers. People love the single. I love the hardcover. But generally, the only ones I produce more of is the really expensive cover and the main cover. So that's why if there's a variant that you want, make sure you buy it, because it might not be available on the next one. So
let me ask you, because this is something I've been talking with comic creators a lot on the past few years about, and I'm happy to see some of them taking my advice. What do you do with your spine on your hardcover? Do you kind of fancy it up? Is it done in a specific way to fit with each other?
So, my artist screwed up one of them, and I yelled at him because I told him the one thing you have to do is make all the spines match, because they will kill me if they don't match. And so Redemption's ones don't match, and I was so mad. And one day I'm going to reprint them all, and then they're going to match. They're going to have like a picture or something. But the Western, I made him, you have to do all 5 now, so that they will all match. And the only thing that changes is the number. So yeah, all it says Worthy Chaos, Devastation, and then it has volume 1 on it. But I was like, they're all already made, so that they all match, because he just could not keep it steady. So Western's going to be okay. But yeah, eventually I do want to do like a fancy one. And I did want to do, I don't know if you've ever seen it, where they have, it's just too expensive, but they have like a picture on the actual pages. So like when you close the book, like you can see it on the edges. Yeah, I was going to do that, but it's like so much more than, and they told me it was $250, and then it was like way more than that. I was like, okay, well, why would you give me a quote then if it's not going to be it? But yeah, go figure.
It frustrated me for years when Kickstarter creators would do it's just either there's nothing on the spine, which is like, why?
No, you have to. It's fine. Yeah.
But yeah, or it would just be black with generic white writing that said, whatever the book was, and I'm like,
Yeah, they actually look pretty good. It says Worthy Chaos, and I think Redemption's in red, and then Redemption the word. No, I think that's backwards. One time it's blue, and then it's red, and then I switched them, so when you see them on the bookshelf, the color change tells you which one's the next series. So they switched the colors, but yeah, it's pretty nice font. So they look pretty good. But I want one day I want a picture or a box set or something. So something fancy. We'll see.
Yeah, once you have it all done, you do that slipcase with your character evolving throughout it or something.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I love hardcovers. Like I used to collect manga, so I had graphic novels all the time, and I love them, and I need the people to buy the singles because it helps pay for the hardcover. But if I had my choice and I was, I would just release hardcovers. But they won't make as much, and I won't get my money back. So, but they're so final, you're holding it, and it's just like this awesome permanent thing. So
yeah, and it's so funny because I hear all the time that eventually it's going to be just graphic novels and we won't do single issues, and I always kind of cringe at people who say that because you don't understand you don't understand the economics of the industry.
Yeah. People love single. I have people that only collect the hardcovers, and I have people that only buy the singles. At cons, depending on so if I go I go to 4 different kinds of cons. I go to cryptid, horror, supernatural, and comics and anime. So comic cons need singles, but every other con they only want the hardcover. Comic book readers love the singles and the hardcover, and then you've got everyone else just wants it just wants the hardcovers. So I always will have, but I mean, not only that, even if you're making just a hardcover, you already have the art. It takes 2 seconds more to make a single. Print your singles out. I just yelled at my friend that did, I won't name any names, but he just did a graphic novel and he skipped the singles. He did 1 or 2 singles out of the 4, and I was like, why would you do that? He goes, oh, my girlfriend paid for it. I was like, who cares? Do singles. People want singles. They do. So, yeah. I just love it.
Yeah, there's a old interview with, I think it's Tom Brevoort, but it was somebody from Marvel who was talking about why Marvel does singles. And they're like, we did the whole OGN thing for a while. Yeah. And they would do, and this is, 5 or 6 years ago, they did a few OGNs. Good books. They got, Mark Waid and big names to do them and everything. All lost money. Yep. Every single one of them. And that's Marvel.
Yep. You're going to lose money. Not only can you not really do multiple covers for a hardcover anyway, it's not the same. People want the single issues. I have people that do collect both. I'll collect all the singles and the hardcover comes out, and then they'll collect that. I honestly mostly do hardcovers for the cons because it's so hard to carry 30 issues. But for Kickstarter to Kickstarter, I would never make this kind of money with just a hardcover. There's no way. No. So I'm always going to have the single. It's only frustrating for me because I don't have enough months in the year to do all the singles that I have. I was kind of calculating the other day. I was like, all right, I have issue 23 done for Redemption. When do I need Conviction, the next series, to start? It's 2029 is when that series would start. So I was told my artist, well, you're going to have to get all the prequels done and the first 5 of Conviction, and you got 3 years to do it. So get on that. So
have you ever thought about doing double Kickstarters, the next one being 6 and 7 or whatever?
I would, but here's the thing, and I don't know if you ever realize this, you never make as much money because people have a set amount that they'll spend, and they'll buy more stuff if there's only one. Because my first Kickstarter was my second Kickstarter was the first new 3 issues, and obviously I wasn't as popular then, but I've been told by many creators if they have more than one, they don't make as much. People will just spend the same, but they'll buy other stuff. So as much as I've wanted to do that, the only reason I would do that is for Redemption, because I don't do a lot of merch for Redemption, because Redemption is just get my series out. I love this, my favorite series. I wrote it, but I have so many more, it's 50 more issues that I want to do. So if he finishes Conviction really early and it's before 2029, I'd be all right, we just got to get these done. Just get them done. But merch wise, I would make more separate. So it sucks.
That makes sense. Yeah, I never really thought of that.
Unfortunate, because I have so many. Like nobody else has 8 issues they're waiting on. You know, usually how a
Oh no.
Kickstarter works for a sane person, this sane person is they don't even have they don't even have the issue done. Like Lori will have like 4 pages done, and then she doesn't even start production until this Kickstarter's done, and she gets 2 weeks after she gets the money. Then she pays the artist. Not me. I've got like 7 issues waiting. I mean, I've got, let's see, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So I have 7 issues waiting to be sold for redemption. Plus the
I,
hardcovers.
without name dropping, I have told creators that I'm friendly with, like, you can't, they'll have like 4 or 5 different books going on at one time. I'm like, finish one. Just finish one and then move on to the next one. Because you don't know how frustrating it is for me to like, it took me 4 years to read 4 issues. Like, come on, guys. Like,
Yeah,
Kickstarter's hard enough for the reader.
See, that's why I do a Kickstarter every month. Because if you're only collecting redemption, it's every other month. It gives you a little time to save. If you're doing both, then you only have like 3 weeks. But you have like every other month. I would not want to wait once a year to do, like, it would drive me. Someone asked me, they posted on Facebook and they said, would you read a comic book that's 4 issues, but I only do one once a year? And I said no. I'd wait till like the 4th year to do it. I'm not reading one comic a year. I'd forget what it was anyway. So
it's more and more just because of financials and everything,
Yeah.
and the world
I know
we
the
live in.
sanity of it. I'm just not that smart. So
Oh, that too. But I have become a trade waiter, and it's become even worse on Kickstarter because exactly that. I'm like, I don't remember what happened in the last issue. By the time issue 2 hit Kickstarter.
it's just, and plus not only that, you kind of fade out of the limelight. Like Lori is very, she's great. She's got her own show every week, so she stays in the limelight. But not everyone does that. So like,
Yeah.
if I was to disappear, I'm too noisy to disappear. But if I was to disappear, they forget. But now it's like literally. So I don't know who trained who. I don't know if I trained them or they trained me. But I usually have the Kickstarter the minute my Kickstarter ends, right? There's 2 things I do. I send out the PDF right away, and I send out the link for the next issue of this series already in pre-launch. Like the pre-launch starts the second the Kickstarter ends, and then I send the link for the next actual one out. So so like for the Redemption, I sent out Redemption 17, and then this, the issue Western. Now one time Kickstarter did not approve. Right now I have 7 in pre-launch ready to go. Like I'm set for the year and a half. But I didn't have that back then, and they didn't approve it right away. So when the Kickstarter ended, I didn't have a link, and people freaked out. And they're like, "Where's the link?" I was like, "It's not approved yet. I don't know." And it was like 3 days later, and I finally got it, and I sent it, and it had like 80 followers in 24 hours, which was like very ego boosting for me. But it was just so funny that they freaked out that it wasn't there. And I was like, I don't know who trained who here. Like, did I train you guys or did you train me? But it keeps them always. And I've even had it where someone wrote to me. So I had somebody that had lost their job during, I think, book 1. And they loved it. Like, they loved it. But they lost their job. So I was sending the PDFs. I was like, I don't care. You could just have the PDFs. He's like, I'm going to pay you back someday. I was like, I don't care. I love that people want to read my story. So they read it. I think it was like a year long. And then they finally got a job. And then they bought everything on my Kickstarter. I was like, you already read it. It doesn't matter. So he bought everything. And now he's, obviously one of my super loyal readers. But he wrote me right after the last Western. He goes, "What happened? Did Redemption get pushed back?" I was like, "No, it's in 2 weeks. We just ended a week ago. You gotta wait 3 weeks." He's like, "I just want to make sure I didn't miss it." I was like, "Yeah, like I'd let you miss it." So yeah.
Well, it's funny because when I was looking you up prior to us talking, one of the things I noticed is he had so many already in pre-launch. Yeah. And in my head, I'm like, the question I was going to ask was, do you have, are your customers so loyal or your readers so loyal that they just keep coming back? You don't worry about the pre-launch hitting the notify button. But then I look at all of them and they're all over 100.
Yeah.
So you got the best of both worlds.
Yeah. They're really good. I don't know how they afford. I feel really bad. I feel like they're going to go broke one day and be like, "We want to back it. We just can't afford it." I was like, I don't blame you. But I pretty much know what each person's going to get. Like, I have about 150, I probably have more, but I get about 125 to 150 backers per Kickstarter. And I pretty much know what almost everyone's going to buy. Like, I know who always buys the stickers, who buys the metal cards. I know who's just going to buy the PDF, which, by the way, I love you too because I don't have to ship them, so I love that. And I was like, I know who's going to buy, the variant, and I know who's going to buy the metal every time. So I kind of know who's going to buy. Like, I will specifically have things for certain people. Like if someone likes a plushie, I have a new plushie. So I definitely know pretty much who's going to buy what. And I know who the journal people are. Who I love. I love the journal people. I'm glad I started that, but man, that thing's exhausting. I did not expect certified people to get like these pages. I have to write them up, print them out, cut them all, and then hole punch them, and then make sure not to forget the damn thing when I ship it. So always fun. But they love it though, because I think it helps them feel, inclusive to it or something. But yeah, so they know me, they know it's coming, and I'm very lucky. And I have been yelled, like in the beginning I got yelled at for all the merch. I had other creators be like, why do you have so much merch? It's like, well, I want it. Now it's tax deductible. So yeah. And then they asked me for links when I started realizing it was selling. But I've had, I don't know. I've had people say, "Oh, how do you know issue 23 is going to sell in Redemption?" I was like, I printed these for me. So even if people weren't going to buy them, it would be a hell of a lot harder, but I would still find a way to print them because I love my comic and I would do it anyway. So it doesn't really bother me. I hope they're around because I have debt like you wouldn't believe, but Westerns help me get out of debt. Redemption, will break even, but Western's like, here's a little bit of extra for you. And I was like, thank you. I could just put it towards more merch. So, yeah.
Well, that's kind of a good segue to my next question, which is, have you ever been approached by a publisher to do something with it, to get in the direct market a little bit more? Or have you attempted on your own to get in the direct market?
Yes. And I got a fight with 3 of them. So when I first started, all of my issues were already written. Right, it was 25 issues for Redemption, and we cut it down to 23. But we have 25, and I had told them these are all written, and here's my first 3 issues already made. 2 or 3 of them flat out told me we do not take people that have longer than 3 issues for their series. And I go, what are you talking about? They're like, well, half the people buy 2, and then even less buy 3. And I was like, then you have the wrong story because have you seen Marvel and DC? Like, have you seen them? Like, they have like a ton. And plus, you're not paying for it. They don't pay for it. What do they care? I was like, you got to be kidding me. I was like, the freaking DC and Marvel not only have like thousands of issues, they have like multiple titles for each one. They're like, yeah, we just don't go more than 3. And I was like, okay. And believe it or not, I just wrote to one like last month and said, by the way, Mike, because he told me I'd never get them all. I was like, by the way, issue 23 just got done. So he's like, I didn't discourage you. And I was like, well, you didn't help, but maybe you fueled the anger. I don't know.
Chris, I love that pettiness right there. Yeah. I absolutely love it. It's right up my alley. I'm so glad you waited all this time. You're like, by the way.
Oh, yeah. By the way. Remember me? Yeah. Pretty much. I was so excited to write to him. I was like, by the way, it just got done. Remember when you said I wouldn't get done? Yeah, it just got done. That's right. That's right.
So it sounds like there were a lot of like naysayers along the way.
I guess. I mean, probably now. I mean, I probably could. But at this point, I'm doing it on my own. Like, I have one of my clients. I have my own business. And one of my clients always says, he backs every single one of them. He's like, when are you going to get a publisher? And I was like, I'm doing it. Like, I got him. Like, what do you want? So I've thought about it. I probably will eventually, like, I could reach out to some. I have some local ones that sell mine. But I do have enough to do monthly at this point because I have 23 issues and that's 2 years worth. So I could probably, distribute them to whatever. But like, I've done it. I'm here. I'm moving along. I'm getting, if it starts to slow down, it's something to look at. But I don't really want someone to tell me that I can't do something or can do something or whatever. So.
I don't think that getting a publisher is the end all be all anymore, but something like, and I think there can be way more of these in the near future, but something like Massive Indies where you can still be your own publisher, but go through them to get it into the direct market, I think is kind of the wave for people like you in the future.
Yeah.
That'll really help get us back to the moment where we were like 10 years ago where Diamond, you could just submit and get in.
Yeah. I mean, I've had people, like I've had two distributors per se come to me and say, would you like to do monthly issues? But the price point that they were doing, I would lose money. I'd literally lose money because they just like, oh, we just want to get into, I was like, and I get that, but I'd lose money printing for you. Like I don't get how. And then they want like their logo. I love my logo. Like I love my logo. So I'm not getting rid of my logo. I don't want to add your logo to it. So yeah, I think for now it's that. But my dream someday is to have a animated series. So. But I can't license it out because I'm picky as all hell. So I have no idea how that's going to work. And I met the actor that I want to do the voice. And he actually said he'd do it. And my husband took him seriously. He's like, oh, really? I was like, do not count on him to do it. But he took my 2 hardcovers and he's like, I would love to do this. Actually, he said if you ever do a movie, I'd be in it. And I wanted to be like, you're too old to do it. But I was like, but I'd rather have an animated series. He's like, oh yeah, I would totally do the voice. And I was like, all right, can I have that in writing or something?
I was talking to a friend on the show, actually. We were talking about how the whole like manga to anime pipeline for popularity. And it's like, we're kind of noticing it happening on our side in the Western market with Invincible. Pretty soon Radiant Black's going to be an animated series.
I would love to do that so much.
Yeah, what they're doing with the Energon universe. I mean, obviously that's a known IP, but still, trying to get more adult centric animation out there. I think it's going to be the future and the near future for comics.
I'm ready. Let's go. I would do 2 versions. I would do anime style, like I don't know if you ever seen Inuyasha, but I love that style. Or if I was to go the other route, I don't know if you've seen the Resident Evil CGI movies, like Death Island and all that. I love those too. So I would go either direction, but I love either one. I just would love an animated series. So, but I can't give it, like I would never sell it. Like I'd be like, oh, would you sell it for like $1 billion? No, this is mine. Like I'd pay to write this, so no. So I can't sell it to Netflix. I can't do it. Plus they'll ruin it. No offense to Netflix. But Netflix and Prime, they do whatever the hell they want to do. So that's never going to work. So... Maybe what's the other one? Tubi. They'll take whatever. I just posted it.
Tubi's just happy to have anything.
Yeah, they'll have anything on there, man. Yeah.
So, Worthy Chaos Devastation, a supernatural Western comic, issue number 5 is on Kickstarter right now. What's going to be the fun, like merch thing for this issue, or are you just kind of going back in the old stuff?
This one is the new thing for this is going to be the acrylics. So we have acrylic keychains, magnets, and the stands, which are really cool. But it's also the first time I'm doing 3D human characters. I've never done that. So we have the vampire cover there where she's holding the skull. We actually got that printed in 3D resin. Looks amazing. We have the Squonk plushie, and the new jar is the Squonk Tears. And you shake it, and it activates it, and it becomes all shiny blue. So it's pretty cool. So, and the new journal page is the Wampus cat. So you get to learn about this Wampus cat that looks like a jaguar with 6 legs. It's not very creative. I didn't make it up, but there you go.
If somebody is out there listening and hearing about this for the first time, can they jump in on any of that on this new campaign?
Oh, yeah. So actually, we do have a tier. I think it's like 119 that has the journal, the box that they all go in, the 3 jars, and all of the journal pages, and the issue 5. So you can get all that. You can get the journal pages. You can get their $1 each in the add-ons, or you could just buy the whole thing all at once. And once you buy the journal, you're set for life. As long as you back it physically, you will get a page, and that's all of the Kickstarters. Every Kickstarter has 1 page. At least 1 page. I used to do 4, and it was killing me. So we're doing 1 to 2 pages now. But yeah, and I do have a question that people answer, and almost always they answer it wrong. But I keep track of everyone in Excel who owns a journal and all this fun stuff. And if you buy more than 1 journal, I don't know why, but they do it. You get those pages free too. So.
I was going to say, you must be living in spreadsheets right now.
Yeah, man. Before this, I was not a very organized person. Like, my parents cannot believe this is me because, like, I was super lazy and I was super unorganized. And now I have to be, like, I ship every month. Like, I'm shipping, like, 100 things every month. So, like, yeah, I've had to reverse that a little bit. And I always tell anyone who searches for me, because I know everyone's like, where can they find you? But you give links. Everyone can find links, but I'm going to tell everyone search Worthy Chaos because I am always the one that shows up. There's like 27 I think is going to show up. But yeah, Worthy Chaos on Google, on Kickstarter, on Facebook. I am everywhere chaos is. So you could just search that and we'll pop up. So it's really good.
Very nice. Before we wrap up, though, I'd love to know for those new readers as well, catch-up tiers. I'm assuming you got digital, physical catch-up tiers.
Every type you can get. So when you buy the current issue, you will get issue 1 and 2 of the other series. But you can catch up PDF-wise. I think it's like 20. If you want to catch up at all the series all together, I think it's $65 for 16 issues of Redemption, 1 issue of Damnation, and all 5 issues of Devastation. So for $65, you get all of it. We also have the catch-up tier, and we also have hardcovers for Redemption. So a lot of people, new people that come in, they buy the first 5 of Western, and then they buy the hardcovers, which is the first 12 of Redemption, and then you can kind of read both. So we have a couple of catch-up tiers that you can do, yeah.
Very cool, very cool. $65 for that many comics? That's a steal.
Well, I try to make it easy for people to catch up. So
yeah. Well, it's so funny because I still see people who don't do digital editions.
Yeah,
and
why
I'm
not?
I said, yeah,
how
it's
many
free
I sell?
money.
I sell like with the 330 backers, 110 of them or 120 of them were all PDFs. Thank God, that was a big shipment. But I was like, that was amazing. I was like, I all I have to do is send out a link. They get it in like an hour after the Kickstarter ends or less. So yeah. So I love PDF people. And then they're real. I don't want to say they're real readers, but some people for the higher up covers come for just the cover. Very small percentage now, fortunately. And I don't mind taking their money, so buy all you want. But I do like the ones that PDFs or whatever covers because I know that they're actually reading the story, which is what I want. I want people to read it. I want people to enjoy it. And if anyone wants to find me on Facebook, I will send them 1 and 2. And the reason why I send 1 and 2 is 2 has Anubis, and he's awesome. So you have to read 2. So everyone's like, oh, you sent me 2. I was like, yeah, well, 2 has Anubis in there. So read 1 and 2. But yeah, I mean, with a series of 23 issues, I don't mind sending 2 issues free. So.
And do you have like an Etsy or Etsy?
I have a
like
website.
Shopify page or a website where people can buy all this fun
it's
stuff?
It's worthychaoscomics.com because some jerk out there has worthychaos.com that they bought the year I started, and I hate them. I try to buy it every year, and they keep renewing it, and they're not using it. So, yeah. They told me I could buy it for $2,000. I was like, no. So
they bought it because they're a time traveler. They knew.
But worthychaoscomics.com, you could buy the hardcovers or singles, or you could buy the PDFs on there too. Kickstarters are cheaper, I'm not going to lie, because you would buy a whole, thing. So the Kickstarter is the best to do. And like, if you buy like the PDFs and you really like it, you can always buy I've had people do that. They'll buy like the PDFs, and the next one's like, I want every issue. And I was like, okay, twist my arm. So yeah. It's an addictive series, and I will apologize ahead of time. Somebody asked me on my last podcast that I did like last week. They're like, why do people come back and read them? I was like, well, the story is really good, but I also do cliffhangers, and that just tortures everybody. So
that's comics.
Yeah.
If you don't know your cliffhangers, what are you doing?
On them talking like that's no. Yeah, they're literally hanging from cliffs. They're pretty much cliffhangers. So
the same thing. Guy I was interviewing just yesterday, we were talking about cliffhangers, and he's like, and we were talking about how a lot of comic creators, especially like mainstream nowadays, it's like the whole book is just to lead to the cliffhanger. And it's like, you gotta have a story in there still, but yeah, I like the cliffhanger.
Yeah, that was the only tricky part, writing the story first, because it's like, okay, I mean, I had a lot of action, so it was kind of easy to find a cliffhanger, but I was just like, what am I gonna, my first series, book 1, everyone's like, how is it 222 pages of story? Because I'm an idiot and wanted to end it on certain things. So like every issue was like 28 to 32 pages, and then the last one was like 44 pages. I literally could have had 4 extra issues. So I lost like $9,000 just releasing them. I was just like, no, we have to get to this point. I was just like, whatever, you're paying me, I don't care. So there you go. And that's why we're on freaking like issue 16 now. So, but I always do tell people there's 2 things you're going to be guaranteed about this. Is you're definitely going to get your issue within, I'll say 8 weeks to cover myself, but you're generally going to get the issue, so you don't have to worry about anything else. You're going to get the PDF right away, but also 3, the series is done. The series is done. It's drawn. You're going to get it. So you don't have to worry about, oh, what if issue whatever doesn't come out? Nope, it's going to come out. You're going to get it. So you don't have to worry about that. Because I know a lot of people worry about the indie creators because they're kind of like, how do I know if I invest my money on this, you're going to get more? And I was like, have you not seen my track record? They're done. So that helps.
Yeah, and that's why it's important to build that track record over time. And that's why I say a lot of creators focus on one.
Yeah.
And like get that to some point of a finish line, whether that's just the first story arc or something.
Yeah.
And then kind of expand. But nobody listens to me.
They always ask me, what tips do you have for new people? And I said, write your ending. I was like, don't be a Game of Thrones. Have an ending. Make it good. Make sure it's going to be good when you end, you know? Like, you don't want to screw it all up. So my whole series is done. Even the Western, I think I've only written up to 18, but like the ending's been written since before time. So I've had that.
Do you see down the line branching away from Worthy Chaos?
Nah.
No? This is what you want to do?
I've been asked to write on like I just got asked the other day, will you write on mine or write my story or help me write? No. I'm not a writer. I'm a storyteller and I'm loyal to my story. So unfortunately, this is my world. Hopefully it's done someday when I'm 80. So.
I respect that. I like that. It's awesome. And you kind of answered this earlier, but I always kind of wrap up with this. If people want to follow you online, do you do a lot of social media? Where's the best place to send them outside of the Kickstarter?
I am very into talking in case you couldn't get, but I'm very into talking. And I communicate with everyone on Facebook. So I know I have a Twitter. There's like 5,000 followers. I don't care. Don't bother. I used to get seen on Twitter, but I'm not. I'm not against it, but I don't get seen anymore. Like I used to get seen. Facebook is great. I can interact with people. I hate Instagram. Don't bother adding me there. I'm trying to learn TikTok. Eventually, I'll do it. I'm a Gen Xer. I'm not the kind that like will post everything. You know, like my dog died, nobody knew. Like I'm not a poster. But on Facebook, you know, you can find me. It's Corissa Grant. You can look me up. And yeah, I'm going to communicate with you. And you can message me. I've had new people message me like, how do I do this? And I was like, I'll tell you everything not to do. And then you figure out your own way. But yeah, so you can follow me, Corissa Grant, Facebook. There's a Worthy Chaos group. There's also a business page. I don't care if you follow it. I don't give a shit. Yeah, there's like, I don't know. There's a lot of people on there. No one ever sees me on there either. So my personal one is my business one. And then follow all of my Worthy Chaos pre-launches. I have, I think, 4 in pre-launch now. So there's always at least like 3 in pre-launch and 1 live. So unless you're that rare 3 weeks in between.
So everybody out there watching, listening, check out the show notes down below. I'll have links to, most importantly, Kickstarter, but also the worthychaoscomics.com and Carissa's Facebook page, so you can check her out there as well. Carissa, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you.
Well, thanks for having me on, because podcast is how I built my, my people. So I'm really lucky, and I couldn't do it without, podcasters like you. I'd be like still, 35 followers. So I've gotten good, but I got a little bit more now after 3 years of not writing to you. I think I had like 3 when I wrote you, or 4. Now I'm like, by the way, I'm on 16. If you want to talk to me anytime soon. So.
Well, I do appreciate it, and we'll definitely have to do it again. And just best of luck with the campaign.
Thank you. I appreciate it.